What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam, I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. I hope you guys have all had a great Thursday. I hope you guys are ready for another live 2023 fantasy football mock draft. Tonight we are hopping into a 12-team full PPR mock, pretty standard roster settings for the night. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 1 flex tonight, kicker and defense, and 5 bench spots. So we got a lot to get into. We've got some NFL news, some fantasy news around the league. Kind of an exciting day, a frightening day for a lot of fantasy owners. So we have a couple things to get into. You guys know what to do on the way in. Hit that like button if you guys are new to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. And most importantly, hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Let me know how you guys are doing. Any fantasy football topics you guys want to go over, any NFL topics you guys want to go over, throw it in the live chat. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk some fantasy football. All right. Kicking off the mock draft at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. That is less than a minute. So I'll go ahead and send out the final warning on Discord, and then we'll kind of get going here. All right. Final warning's out, and I'll start this thing right at 10:30 p.m. on the dot. Okay, I don't even know where to start. It's training camp, guys. It's a beautiful time of year. Not really. It's like the most stressful time of year. There's your sleeper noises. Mock is underway. Okay, so let's just start with Joe Burrow, who went down today. Kind of a scary video, you know, especially for a lot of dynasty fantasy community members, right, who might own Joe Burrow, like myself, who owns Joe Burrow and half of his dynasty leagues. It looked pretty bad, you know, and obviously Burrow was carted off. But one thing to keep in mind, right, is when we look at, injuries from training camp, a majority of the time they're going to cart players off the field, A, because it can reduce, potential further risk of injury or whatever, but B, the practice fields that they're practicing on are pretty far away from the training facilities. So, you don't always want to panic about a player getting carted off overall. You know what I'm saying? But still not the best, right? When you watch the video, Burrow goes down, and obviously sounds like he's in pain. And the thing is, though, these players are trying to be as cautious as possible, right? So, he's going to stay down and not move. He's going to get on a cart, be carted off. And that's all we have to really go off, right? There's a lot of speculation like this is an Achilles injury, might be something else. He had, little by little news come out that it was related to the calf. And now the update that we have to go off of from Zach Taylor is that Joe Burrow suffered a calf strain, okay? And obviously when he went down, he was grabbing, his calf. So, makes sense. And hopefully that's what we've got here, and we don't have a situation where his Achilles is affected or anything else, right? So, but, Zach Taylor coming out and saying that it's a calf strain is good. With that being said, there's no timeline at the moment for recovery. So, best thing to do in a situation like this, if you own Joe Burrow, sit back, let it just ride out. We'll see, we'll probably get a full report tomorrow, and we'll just kind of go from there, right? That's all you can really do. But even if you don't own Joe Burrow, Dynasty, we still want Joe Burrow out there. Like, we don't want any players injured, right? Like, fantasy football is just better overall when everyone's healthy, okay? Real life football, better overall when everyone's healthy. So, the football world is better when players of Joe Burrow's caliber are healthy and on the field. So certainly hope that this injury is not too severe and that doesn't keep him out for too long. Okay, Garrett Wilson got a little stinger today. Ankle injury, limped off the field to the locker room. According to head coach Robert Saleh, all indications are he will be okay. So that's another very scary one. We're looking at dynasty teams right now. When we're looking at the upcoming fantasy football season, Garrett Wilson has built as much hype as any wide receiver this offseason. Maybe the most hype of any wide receiver this offseason. Goes at 2.4 tonight. I mean, don't get me wrong. Lamb, A.J. Brown, Diggs, St. Brown, all those guys can go before Wilson. And if, we have a couple teams favoring a RB1 over a wide receiver 2 in these specific builds, it's not too crazy. But plenty of times we've seen Wilson go at 1.10, 1.11, 1.12, or the beginning of the second round. So I don't know for sure if you guys are a little bit more worried about Wilson or if you guys are not. But, we had the good report from the head coach here, so we'll see what happens with Garrett Wilson. But just a scary day. Those two guys, Joe Burrow, Garrett Wilson, are going to have major impacts on this coming fantasy season. So that was not fun. Nothing at all fun about those two situations going down today. And then, while it's not really fantasy related, we did have the Jalen Ramsey situation as well. And once again, football in general is better when these high caliber players are healthy and on the field. But, obviously Jalen Ramsey was carted off to the locker room. There's still a couple reports. There's still a little bit more information that we need that we'll probably get tomorrow. But he is going to undergo surgery on his knee, and he's probably out until at least December. So let me make this draft pick. Let's get on the Calvin Ridley train tonight. So, yeah, it sucks. His ACL is intact, which is the good news. But overall, it sucks, Going to undergo knee surgery. Probably going to be out till at least December as the reports we're getting. So certainly hope Ramsey has a speedy recovery. You guys have heard me talk about that Dolphins defense this year. And the Dolphins overall just being a sneaky team to even potentially win that division. This hurts them because part of that reason is that if Ramsey's going to be out there, their corner 1, corner 2 are going to be very, very solid. So it's unfortunate, but if they do make that playoff push, hopefully he's back in time around December. And if they're in position to make the playoffs and they're looking pretty solid, they might set Ramsey even longer. Let him take his time. But knowing the caliber of player he is, he probably wants to be out there. So that sucked. The Burrow thing sucked. The Wilson thing sucked. It was like a roller coaster of emotions for NFL fans, fantasy football fans today. The thing about this time of year is when you're getting alerts, you're like, oh my God, please don't let it be an injury. Literally yesterday, or the day before, when I got the Justin Herbert alert to my phone about his contract, all I could see was a update about Justin Herbert, and I was like, oh my gosh, please don't let something be wrong with Justin Herbert. And it was a contract, update, which is like, okay, well, that's good. Today it was the opposite. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Stop it. Stop training camp. Just everyone stop training camp for the day, right? But we'll get through it. And hopefully all these players are good to go, have good speedy recoveries, and we see as many of these guys out there on the field this coming season as possible. All right, Javonte Williams cleared for contact. Pretty impressive what Javonte Williams has been doing this offseason in terms of his recovery, so that's good. We've got hype around James Cook at the running back position. That's really all we have to go over. Cole Kmet got his extension yesterday, which probably made a lot of running backs upset. You know, you've got like the kind of dispute between Jonathan Taylor and the Colts still going on. We'll see how that plays out. Sterling Shepard and Randall Robinson are on the PUP list. That's about everything. If I think anything else, we'll get into it. All right, let me make this next draft pick, and then I'm going to hop in the live chat. See you guys, how you guys are doing tonight. Yeah, just a whirlwind of emotions today in the fantasy world. So give me DJ Moore. That'll make things a little bit better tonight. All right. Chase, what's up, dude? How are you doing? Thomas, what's going on, man? Mock literally filled in 1 minute. Yeah, I mean, let's get used to it, especially once August starts. It's going to be that way for sure. Last year was even worse. I mean, like you guys were like ready to fight each other over the mock draft invites. So maybe what I'll do is I'll make like on Discord, like I don't know, a group or whatever for YouTube members, and like every other night I'll send out the mock draft invites to YouTube members before I send that out to the rest of the Discord or something like that. Box in the Jack, hello. Emil, hello. Slade, other than the obvious trade scenario, why is Derrick Henry falling down boards? Are people trying to predict regression? I would say so. I mean, when you look at, you know, total amount of touches, it's the same thing with Derrick Henry, you know, as it is every year. He's just getting closer and closer. You know, he's like right below 2,000 total touches, so it just worries fantasy managers. Then I think on top of that, it's just Tennessee's offense as a whole is not super exciting, even with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins. But, I mean, I think it's a fair point. You know, when you look at Henry, the RB4 last year was on an incredible pace in 2021 before getting hurt. RB3 in 2020, RB5 in 2019, RB15 in 2018. Obviously has been on an incredible pace overall. Let me make... See, this is a conundrum if I go Calvin Ridley early, because like Christian Kirk's on the board, and I feel like that's like too much exposure, but I also feel like he's a great pick right here. So it's tough. Oh my gosh, are we all really passing on Joey B? Oh. I got the auto pick. I'll take it. I'm wearing the Burrow jersey. He's on the thumbnail. Burrow's going to be okay, guys. All right, whatever. I was either going... I didn't really mind going running back, quarterback, or wide receiver there. So, great start to this draft, in my opinion. Bijan, Olave, Ridley, DJ Moore. So, give me Joey B. I'll do it for the people. Yeah, Slade, I think when it comes to Henry, it's really just predicting regression. I think you hit it right on the nail there. John, are you looking to trade away Burrow in League 2? No way. Never. Albert, what's going on, man? Thomas, Wilson will be good as my wide receiver in Dynasty. Yeah, I mean, if you're a Wilson owner, if you're a Burrow owner, it's like, yeah, they will be good. Just don't let yourself... believe anything else. Godfather, what's up, bro? Hope everyone's doing great tonight. Thank you guys so much for being here. Chase is getting old. He'll be decent in fantasy, but at some point Henry will hit a wall, and he doesn't catch passes. Yeah, last year was like his career high in receiving, most receptions, most receiving yards, and that was 33 receptions, 398 receiving yards. So doesn't catch a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, similar arguments for like Ezekiel Elliott last year, arguably even the year before that. He started to have, you know, some doubters starting to come out predicting that regression. I mean, Zeke wasn't that bad in fantasy last year, but, you know, that ceiling just starts to lower itself, essentially, at some point. Andrew, what's going on? Cat says he's still getting drafted as RB6 to 8. That's not necessarily falling. that's a pretty good point. Like, look at tonight. You got C-Mac, Bijan, Eckler, Barkley, Chubb, JT, Pollard, Henry. It's really not too far back, and plenty of mocks he goes before Pollard. And honestly, I think most of you guys would agree you probably want those other running backs over him, And if Hall wasn't coming off the injury, he'd probably be right in that conversation as well. Let's go DeAndre Swift. Man, the fact that Trevor Lawrence lasted here makes me kind of wish I did just go Christian Kirk or Hollywood Brown at 5.5. I mean, whatever. I didn't mean to take Burrow, but I'm destined to have him tonight. Sean Payton blast Nathaniel Hackett. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of interesting. We have like this Jets Broncos, rivalry starting to brew. Like they were asking Robert Saleh about it, and he was like, he basically said Sean Payton can say whatever he wants to say, and Sean Payton kind of can, so. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to kind of defend what Nathaniel Hackett did last year as a head coach, so. J-Dubs, I don't take quarterback early, but Joey B will be okay. Yeah, so let me know, what do you guys think in terms of the Joe Burrow situation? What's your level of concern? He kind of falls tonight. Usually he goes before Fields or right after Fields. Falls back a little bit tonight. How worried are you guys? Took one for the team and drafted him, but I kind of wish I didn't. That way we could have gotten maybe a better read of where he was going to start going in drafts for the time being until we get an update at least. Pacheco or David Montgomery here. I don't really mind either guy. Let's switch it up tonight. Let's go Monty. Anyone else love what Ridley has shown so far? Yeah, Ridley, the training camp hype is so beyond real. It's not even funny. It's I mean, Ridley does look good. Don't get me wrong. And there are a lot of players that look good right now. I mean, JSN had a dirty grab today. Garrett Wilson's looked very good. Training camp hype is a real thing, right? But I do think literally Calvin Ridley ran one route and caught one football, and everyone was like, "Oh man, here we go," That to me was a little bit of an overreaction. But now that we're getting more and more footage and more and more routes and more plays recorded, it makes more sense now. But I think there's a slight overreaction to the first ball he caught and everything. But yeah, Ridley looks good. I think he's gonna start creeping up. We've already seen that. He's going before Debo, going before Cooper, Judy, Keenan Allen, Drake London. Where before he might go in between some of those guys or right after. I think right after T. Higgins, Metcalf, even possibly before Metcalf or Higgins is where he's going to be, and I'm okay with that. I still prefer Christian Kirk 2 rounds later as a better value. But obviously tonight, I'm taking the hype. Give me Ridley. Spent 1 hour and 18 minutes to the Travis Scott album. I'm very excited. I was actually talking to my wife about that. So yeah, we cannot stream. I'll have to be off by midnight for sure, which we will be. But yes, I'm excited for Utopia, Spence. J-Dub says I'm high on Ridley. Cats, everyone hop on the Ridley train. I got roasted in chat for taking him mid-third a while ago. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? I always encourage you guys to go out, follow your personal conviction. Especially, that's the thing, right? If you guys were entering, best ball tournaments, it's that's the place where you just got to trust your gut. And you got to start taking players when and where you can, because as soon as the ADP starts to change, it happens so drastically that there's like no coming back from it. You know what I mean? All right, so Zay Flowers goes at 7.9. Zay Flowers is like the one player I had queued here. Zay Flowers is starting to become a player. I mean, I've talked about him a bit, and I've liked him as a later round selection at the wide receiver position, but he's truly becoming a player that I'm really heavily targeting because he's a player, as the next couple weeks continue to go on, I do think there's a pretty strong chance that Zay Flowers week 1 is the wide receiver 1 for the Ravens. This Todd Monken-led offense, they are going to throw the football a ton, and I want pieces of Zay Flowers. Okay, we've talked about this a little bit, but in terms of truly targeting him in mock drafts and drafts in general, he's a guy I want for sure. So he's interesting because, you know, his ADP is a little bit later than like he went tonight. He's kind of like at the back end of those rookie wide receivers outside of JSN. When you look at Addison, Flowers, and Johnston, Flowers usually goes after those two guys, Addison and Johnston. But I like Flowers in the specific situation he's in the most right now. I mean, in terms of him playing like a wide receiver 1, like Jordan Addison is in a good position because him playing behind Justin Jefferson benefits him. Quentin Johnston is in a good position because him being behind Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, and having Justin Herbert slinging the rock, you know, like all of that's good, right? But Flowers, Lamar, Action Jackson, slinging it to him in a Todd Monken offense, I think that he's really become a player that I want. So it's kind of about figuring out, like, where do I have to take Zay Flowers to where I'm not going to miss on him? It doesn't help when we have like 3 Ravens fans in here drafting with us either. But all right, this is kind of a weird pick because all the players I wanted are gone because you guys are good at drafting. So I'll just go Brian Robinson. I mean, I do feel like he's the best available running back, but like Gibson got taken against ADP. I thought about going Gibson at 8.8 or Kamara at 8.8. Went ahead and went tight end to see if one of those two guys would fall out, hoping Gibson would, but bad call on my end. So, anyways. All right, let's get back to the chat here. Godfather says no concern for Burrow. That's my mindset right now. Burrow's going to be okay. Did Garrett Wilson get hurt today? I mean, technically, yes, but according to Robert Saleh, he's going to be okay, Andrea. Cats, I'd take Ridley after Adams if I had to. Yeah, you know, I mean, I still like Olave, Devonta Smith, Waddle more. I think an argument over Higgins is fine. Metcalf is fine. But I don't think an argument over Smith, Olave, or Waddle is out of the question. But I still like those guys more, you know. J-Dubs always took Ridley at the late third. Now the ADP is up majorly at 3.2. Yeah, and I think he'll kind of stay right there. But if he moves up a little bit more, I won't be surprised. You know, I mean, if we get like week 1 of preseason and Trevor Lawrence like throws a bomb to Ridley or whatever, it's like that hype's just going to go out of control, right? I mean, the same like if Aaron Rodgers slings one to Garrett Wilson in week 2 preseason, it's like, watch out, you know. Generally, the preseason isn't going to impact players like that too drastically, but it does happen. You know, it's more so like, I don't know, like a player like Zay Flowers, Rita's talking about, or like Devon A. Chain, or like Zach Charbonnet, like players like that in their rookie season who might see a little bit more playing time in preseason. And, you know, like Dameon Pierce last offseason, like the perfect example of a player who just became all of the hype uncontrollably throughout the offseason. So, I'll take Sky Moore before anyone else does. Don't trust you guys. Kind of a heavy running back draft for me tonight. See, and like, it's because I thought I could target Zay Flowers in the 8th. Little did I know. Because then I'd probably be sitting with Flowers, Robinson, and Moore, which I like a little bit more, no pun intended, then go for like a later tight end here, like Greg Dulcich, or maybe I would have gone like Komet over Brian Robinson. But I'm okay with Ingram there as well. So. Box says Zay Flowers the GOAT. How do you feel on Odell and Bateman as Chase? I mean, like, I do like Bateman, but as soon as he got slapped on the pup list, it was like, I kind of got that queasy feeling like I was really warming up to Rashad Bateman. And then, yeah, I just kind of was like, oh, I don't know. I think we're going to start to see, I don't know. I'm just worried we're going to see another season out of Rashad Bateman that we've seen the last 2 years. So I'm kind of on the fence. If he's healthy, I love him. Do I trust him to be healthy? I don't know. I don't know if I'm quite there. I like Jacoby Myers here. I like Darnell Mooney. But I feel the most confident in Romeo Doubs out of that tier. So I'm going to go Doubs here. Yeah, I worry about Bateman, man. I do. He's going to have some good games, but I worry about his consistency. I'm okay with Odell. He's not really part of any of my game plans. But I'm okay with Odell as a flex option, a bench option. I don't think he's going to be entirely consistent as well. But he's going to make some plays. He's going to have some good games. I mean, this Ravens team is going to throw the football more. Their defense is going to be good. So, like, you know, I just talked about Jacoby Myers. Like, I like Jacoby Myers' situation because the Raiders are going to have to throw the football a lot because they're going to be playing from behind. I think the Ravens are going to have closer games. You know, when you look at their defense last year, there's a lot of close games, okay? That's part of the reason why they made the playoffs, because that defense was so good. So, you know, I think they're not going to have awful game scripts necessarily, but they are going to be in positions where they need to throw the football. So, or they just throw the football in general, because that's the way that offense is going to be ran. So, like, I'm okay with Odell or Bateman, but I don't think you're going to get as much consistency. I think the consistent option there is going to be Zay Flowers. So, we'll see what happens. All right. Get a drink of water. Cats, Zay Flowers sleeper profile pick looking crispy. Yeah, they added some rookies. Not all of them. Flowers got one. Bijan got one. I was actually up working when they started to add these, and it was funny because Bijan's had like the picture was there, but he had like a gray box around him. It just looked weird. They didn't add a lot of them though. Like Quinn Johnston and Addison and even JSN don't have them. Now I'm trying to look. It's funny that it's just like all we have is what Flowers and Bijan. Oh, some of the quarterbacks get added. Yeah, Richardson got added. That's right. I think that's it. I think Bryce Young and I think Stroud. Yeah, so 5 players got added. Yeah, in case anyone wanted that update, those are your 5 rookies who got sleeper profile picks. Godfather, I like your thoughts on Zay Flowers. I'd have to agree. Yeah, he's starting to become a player that I'm going to be. I mean, I have been like taking him in best ball tournaments. I have been drafting him. You guys have seen that. I've taken more shots on Quinn Johnston and Addison lately too, but Flowers is going to be a guy that I'm going to start like. Where exactly do I have to draft him to ensure that he's on my roster? So we shall see. All right, so one more wide receiver for me. I mean, maybe I need a second quarterback. Maybe I need Dino or Danny Dimes, Rodgers. But I'm probably just going to go wide receiver and say that Burrow's okay. So we'll go Shaheed. Very happy he fell right there. Then we'll pick a kicker in defense. Randy, what's going on, man? Bijan or Kelsey at the 1.8? For me, it's Bijan, but that's just the way I draft. I don't traditionally do the, Kelsey in the first or anything. I have some builds that way, mainly in best ball, but overall for me, like the way I draft, I want my RB1 or wide receiver 1 in the first. So for me, it's Bijan right there. Doug, what's going on, man? Report on McCaffrey. Slade is saying they'll be cautious with them, which makes me think less touches, probably 15 to 18 max. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a player you want to preserve all year. But I don't know if that's for the regular season. The way I'm reading that report, because it's on Sleeper here, I'll pull it up. I think that might just be for the off season. So the way I'm reading it, C-Mac, there we go. Niners to take cautious approach with Christian McCaffrey. The Niners will take things slow, blah, blah, blah. Moving into the season, veteran didn't participate in team drills on Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just kind of leading up to the season, and like they might still be semi-cautious with him. Like, we know Eli Mitchell's going to get touches, so for me, it's nothing too concerning. I think C-Mac will still get his. But yeah, I mean, especially after today, like, be cautious with all your top tier guys, right? All right. Zay Flowers gets 70 plus catches. I think it's certainly very possible. Godfather says Bijan over Kelsey in first here. Also, unless it's a nice tight end premium league, like 2 points a catch or extra points per yardage type league. Yeah. I mean, like, if it's really between those two guys, if you know they're both going to be there, then for me, it's still Bijan in general, But I've been on the Bijan train all off season, so I'm not coming off it. J-Dubs, I still like Bateman for the upside play. Yeah, I mean, like, I like that offense this year. Like we've talked about tonight, new offensive coordinator, they're going to throw the football more. I'm fine with both Bateman and Beckham. And like Bateman in the 10th, he's your wide receiver 5. I don't have a problem with that. Who just drafted Trevor Siemian? Get out of here. Get out of here. All right. I was tempted to go Daniel Carlson with my last pick. Let's see. If I had done that, I mean, I still could have drafted. I don't know. The defenses aren't great, but you can always stream defense. But then again, you can always stream kicker. So it'd be like the Dolphins, Steelers, Chiefs, Packers, Saints, Commanders, Broncos. Yeah. But Carlson, kicker, won the last 2 years. Maybe he'll have regression. I don't know. Graham Gano, Dicker the kicker, Nick Folk, all good options here. Matt Prater. I'll go Nick Folk. Nick Folk had some games last year, man, where he's basically a skill position player. So, all right, guys. Let me know if you want a team review. Let's do it. Let's do it. I like this team tonight. I'd be okay with this squad. All right, Spence. What's up, Spence? Hey, by the way, guys, just out of curiosity, how's my audio sounded tonight? Because I am using my new mic. And has it been like, is it too quiet? It's been like just right. Could it be louder? I guess that's the same thing as too quiet. Is it too loud? Give me some feedback. Okay. Spence at the 1.7. Mahomes and Kelsey goes for the stack of the century. We'll take it. Kenneth Walker, I love him at 4.6. Great value in my eyes. Javonte, Pirine, get the Broncos backfield locked up. Bigsby and Foreman. So kind of hero running back here, going after some committees towards the end. Kind of lose some running back value if you do go tight end and quarterback out early, but you gain that upside. Probably the most upside at quarterback and tight end with those two guys. Waddle, Pittman, Mike Williams, Addison, J-Mo. A very Spencer wide receiver room, but it's good. Eagles defense, Carlson, you're good there. So you're starting Mahomes and Kelsey, Walker, and a Broncos running back. Waddle and Pittman. Then we're practicing one flex tonight, so you're probably just flexing Mike Williams. Addison and J-Mo on the bench is very good. Bigsby and Foreman and redraft are good options down the stretch. Obviously, you're starting the Eagles defense and Daniel Carlson. So be rotating that RP2. Other than that, you look solid, man. It's a very Spencer-esque team. All right. Nick, what's up, dude? At the 1-3. Fields, I think is a good value at 4.10. You're fine there. You got Jones behind them. That's perfectly fine. Pitts and Dalton Schultz, you're good there. Heavy quarterback, heavy tight end draft. C-Mac, Gibbs, Cook. Yeah, I mean, in a real draft, you're probably not drafting two quarterbacks or two tight ends, and you got to take a fourth running back. But, you know, especially with Cook kind of being up in the air, you want a fourth running back here. But Gibbs and C-Mac, a ton of upside there. Devonta Smith, Hopkins, Mike Evans, Treylon Burks, Tyler Boyd looks pretty solid. I mean, not my favorite wide receiver room, but good enough. Jets defense and Brandon McManus. All right. Starting Fields and Pitts, C-Mac and Gibbs, Devonta Smith, and D-Hop. And your flex, I mean, Mike Evans, Treylon Burks, Dalvin Cook, could be any of those guys. Boyd's on the bench. Jones is on the bench. So one flex leagues, this would be fine. Two flex, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But, I mean, good veteran value in Hopkins and Evans, but could be a limited ceiling there. So, but one flex, I think it's okay, man. Chase at the 110. Freiermuth at tight end. You're good there. Prescott and Richardson. I like that combination. I really do, actually. JT Dobbins, Jamal Williams, Tyler Algier. Solid running back room. Yeah, Dobbins on the PUP list got some people concerned. JT is also on the PUP list, but we'll see what happens. Lamb, Cooper, Allen, Hollywood, a great start at wide receiver. Thielen and Jefferson. I mean, wide receiver 5 and 6, that's fine. I like Jefferson in the 13th. Got the Bassman at kicker, no defense. Just drop someone when the season starts. Go stream, that's fine. Okie doke. So we're starting Prescott and Freiermuth, JT and Dobbins, as long as they're healthy. Starting CeeDee Lamb and Cooper, then you're flexing Keenan Allen or Hollywood Brown. So, yeah, I mean, this team looks very solid. Bench is fine here. The main thing here is, are JT and Dobbins healthy? So, as long as they're good to go, JT's not holding out, you're in a good spot. Jamal Williams and Algier are pretty solid for kind of bench handcuff committee type running backs for redraft, though. Cats, where you at, bro? At the 1-9. Perk Cousins. How do you come up with these, man? And who photoshops the pictures for you? All right, Cousins at 10.4, perfect. Higbee in the 13th is fine. I might still take a second tight end with Higbee, but he is a great value there. Jacobs, Najee, Mixon, and Puris, solid. Diggs, Wilson, Flowers, Moore, Davis, Rice, solid. Niners defense, Myers. This is just a solid team. You know, obviously he went late quarterback, late tight end. He might have a limited ceiling there, but it really allowed you to go out and draft some pretty good running backs and wide receivers here. So, especially for a one flex league. So you're starting Cousins and Higbee, hopefully Jacobs and Harris, but if not, I mean, you got your pick there, Mixon, Pierce, whoever. Starting Diggs and Wilson, then I would say you're flexing Zay Flowers, but it could be Elijah Moore, Gabe Davis, or Rashee Rice as the season goes on, and it could be any of those running backs as well. So, as long as Higbee's good to go here, Stafford's out there, which it looks like he's going to be, and Higbee, if he has a performance like last year, then you're in a good spot. If he gets you close to that, you're probably in a decent spot. But yeah, if Cousins and Higbee show up for you, it's a good squad, man. All right, let's see here. Slade at the 1-8. Justin Herbert at quarterback with Simeon. I didn't even know Trevor Simeon was the QB2 on the Bengals. I really didn't until today. Kittle at tight end, that's fine. Quarterback and tight end are fine. Eckler, Sanders, Cook, Mitchell, Roschon, good running back room. Adams, London, Thomas, Sutton, Myers. That'll do for a one flex league. Bengals defense. Okay, so we're starting Herbert and Kittle, Eckler and Sanders, Adams and Drake London. Your flex is whoever. Cook, Sutton, can't guard Mike, Myers. I kind of like Myers here, but could really be any of those guys. So you got options. That's good. Yeah. Solid team. I'm fine with it, man. Nothing crazy, but it's fine. Box and the Jack. What did we do tonight? Lamar at QB and Njoku at tight end. Then those guys are good. I like Njoku in the 9th. Stevenson, Aaron Jones, Rashad White, and Penny. I like Rashad White in the 7th. I was hoping he'd fall out to the 7-5 where I got Monty, but I wasn't very faithful that was going to happen. J.J. Higgins, JSN, Tony Lazard, and Jaden Reed. One flex, that's probably fine. I mean, Tony, I don't know, man. I don't know where I'm at with Tony anymore. I might be full out on Tony. But, like, who else are you going there? Maybe Juju. Maybe Sutton. I mean, I like the next tier, like J-Mo, Sky Moore, Bateman, Dobbs more. Anyway, so Cowboys defense, Justin Tucker, good picks there. You're starting Lamar and Njoku, Stevenson, and Aaron Jones. Jones probably a really good value in the 4th right now. Starting JJ and Higgins, then you're, in that flex. Rashad White, JSN as the season goes on. Alan Lazard, those guys are all options for you. Tony, if he's alive, is fine. Penny could be a sneaky option. Jaden Reed could be a sneaky option. So, yeah, I like this team. I like the starting lineup a lot. All right, Brian at the 112. Hurts, he's good at football, I've heard. I will take him as a QB1 all day long. Waller, you're fine there. I might draft a late tight end behind him just with that injury history. Barkley, Connor, Charbs, Harris. In a single flex redraft league, I'll take that. St. Brown, Judy, QJ, Beckham, Collins, Chark, good enough. Seahawks defense, Niners kicker. So we're starting Hurts and Waller, Barkley and Connor, St. Brown and Judy. You're probably, as the season goes on, flexing Quentin Johnston, maybe even Charbs. But to start the year, you might flex like Beckham or Damon Harris. So pretty good bench options here. For single flex, I think this is fine. Yeah, I mean, like tomorrow we'll probably run a double flex format like we had been for most of the offseason. I just wanted to get some of these single flex mocks in here because there are a lot of people who just play, I think like the most common format is 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, and a flex, kicker, defense. Like that's like your standard league setting. So I want to get some of these in here. But yeah, I think as the offseason continues to progress, it's going to be more and more difficult in those double flex formats to really come out with, like, I don't know, like, we're going to come out with good teams, but it's just going to be more difficult. So, anyways, this team looks fine to me, Brian. All right, let's see. Okay, thank you guys for the feedback. The new mic. Yeah, right now for the auction formats, it's usually been on a night where I don't stream, and it's usually been on the weekend, so it's been kind of random. But we'll try to keep getting those mixed in, and then at some point I will stream one. It's just that it's a long stream. Maybe what I'll do one night is, like, you know, like we'll start the auction mock off air and get like an hour through, and then maybe I'll like do a stream going over the first half and then like stream through the second half or something like that. Oliver, what's going on, man? Cat says I photoshopped them myself, and that's what I figured. Let's see. I remember talking about if you would consider a best ball redraft league. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I need to really sit down and make my plan. I've had a lot of people asking about the redraft tournament, which we're going to do. Probably what I'll do is I think we're going to have 4 leagues for the redraft tournament. So it'll probably be 46 spots, because I'll take well, actually, I don't know. Because last year what I did was I commissioned each league and I only played in one. I think this year I'm going to play in each individual league. And then Steven will be in at least one league. So that takes us to 43 open spots. So that'll fill up quicker than you guys might think. But if you guys want to get in it, you know, there's only 14 people in the stream right now. If you're listening, you guys will get in it. But I think that's what I'm going to do for our primary redraft tournament. And then I think I'm going to sit down and design 4 leagues for YouTube members. And those will get filled primarily by YouTube members. And then if I need people to join, I will start inviting non-YouTube members. But that would be like our Super Flex League, the Auction League. Well, I'll also, I mean, if you guys were in the Auction League last year, we're going to run it back. You'll be re-invited or whatever. And then if I need to fill those spots, I will. Might do a second auction league, might not. But yeah, I'll have like a super flex league for YouTube members. I'm going to have like a league that just makes no sense. I don't know exactly what the formats are going to be. Just like a fun, like double tight end, double quarterback, 1 wide receiver, 1 running back. Like just something that nobody does. And we're going to do that for no reason. But, yeah, I mean, obviously there's only like so much I can take on, and we're already in the midst of 4 dynasty leagues. Redraft a little bit easier to manage, but you know, there's still a lot that goes into commissioning a league and making sure that everyone's happy, on top of it, you know, being tied to the YouTube channel. So I think, you know, the redraft tournament, having 4 total leagues and then having like 4 additional leagues for YouTube members on top of the 4 dynasty leagues is probably where I'm at for the year. So if one of those ends up being a best ball format, we'll see, but it's definitely a potential, Tommy. Boxing Jack, you wonder where Tony's injury? Oh no. And Jadis makes a good point. It's not hard to manage because it's best ball. So from my end, it probably wouldn't hurt to do so. Oh, I skipped you, J-Dubs. Okay, we'll hit J-Dubs. Let me catch up. All right. Dubby. 2-1 Geno for a late round quarterback build. I think that's about as good as it gets this year. Like 11th round or later. Goddard, I'm fine with in the 7th. Bills defense, Younghoe Koo, solid there. Henry, Madison, Gibson, Dillon. Okay, I can live with that. Hill, Metcalf, Watson, Ayuk, Bateman. Whew. I like this squad. Starting Tua or Geno, starting Goddard, starting Henry and Madison, Henry and Gibson, maybe. Starting Hill and Metcalf, flexing Watson or flexing Ayuk. I mean, the fact that you have Ayuk or Watson as a flex option with Bateman on the bench, Gibby and Dillon on the bench. Yeah. That might be my favorite team of the night. You know, I prefer Swift as an RB2. I get why you go Madison. I even kind of like White more, but I'm fine with Madison. That's like my only note. And I'm not even like totally against Madison, but I like those two guys more. Yeah, this is a good team. I like it, man. Easy review. Not much to say. It's a good squad. Good late round quarterback build for sure. J-Dubs, the champ returns to auction, looking to run it back. Yeah. That league, I am just planning on running back. I actually need to get in there because that league's still open and just see where everyone's at. And if because most everyone who was in that league is still pretty active. Like Andrea, Spencer, Cinnabon, Mr. Sarcastic, Godfather, Michael, Prodigy, J-Dubs. The only person I don't hear from a ton is Julian. So I would imagine most of us will be back for that league. And yeah, that's a smaller league, 10 teams. So. Yeah, maybe we can make it 12th, but I kind of like the 10-team format we had. Like I feel like I don't know, that league kind of started and I might keep it at 10. Yeah, Cats, we could do bonuses for that league. Andrea, yeah, we'll get you back in the auction and redraft leagues for sure. Tommy did ask for me to go over Taxi Squad. So if you guys have any thoughts on Taxi Squad, how it works overall, go ahead and throw it in the live chat, and then I'll pull up one of my teams here. Gosh, I still have that one team where Zay Flower is on my Taxi Squad. I need to fix that. I'm trying to think of which team I want to. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty young team overall, but yeah, so essentially when I still need to drop someone from this team. When you're looking at the Taxi Squad, right, you know, what this allows you to do is to draft players for potential, draft rookies for potential, without really impacting your primary roster and your bench. So when you're looking at the Taxi Squad, you're essentially wanting to put players that you don't think are more than likely going to perform well this coming season, but you still believe in long term. So like running backs, tight ends, quarterbacks, I would say are a little bit more common on the Taxi Squad because those guys, A, either take longer to get their opportunity, or B, take longer just to develop in general, but you can still have some wide receivers, you know, and it kind of depends like who's on your primary roster. Like this team has a lot of depth at wide receiver: Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith, Debo, Kirk, Dotson, Hodgins, Quentin Johnston. I'm probably going to have to drop Trey Palmer from this team. If I don't drop it, I don't know what I'm going to do with this team. This team's pretty loaded. But so, you know, in that case, like I've got, you know, Puka on the Taxi Squad. Oh, gosh. Oh, he had cramping. Okay. I was like, oh, when did he exit practice on a cart? But, you know, got him on the Taxi Squad. Then I've got Evan Hull, who I do like a lot as a prospect, right? And that's a big thing with your Taxi Squad is like looking at players as a prospect, but someone who might not get those opportunities in year 1 or year 2 even, and in some leagues up to year 3. You know, I like Evan Hull, and I think he could carve out a role in this backfield, but I don't quite know exactly when that's going to happen. So I think Taxi Squad's the best place for him. Will Mallory on the same team. It's on the pup list, of course. But I like Will Mallory, you know, and his receiving upside as a tight end. But he's got a ton of competition at tight end. He's probably not going to be used a ton. But he could develop into a player who has some fantasy value. So for me, like this specific team, those are the 3 best guys to sit on the taxi squad. But like classic example of a good taxi squad players like Jordan Love, like, you knew the Packers took him in the first. You knew he wasn't going to get those opportunities right away because Aaron Rodgers was in front of him. Set him on the taxi squad for 2 years, whatever. Some leagues you can have players on taxi squad up to 3 or 4 years, so it just kind of depends. But Jordan Love was like, you knew the draft capital was there. You knew he had the potential at some point, to maybe be the starter at the Packers, which is now happening. But you knew Aaron Rodgers was there, right? So you just kind of want to look at it as it is an extension of your roster for the long term, okay? Like I said, in my opinion, tight ends, quarterbacks, running backs, most commonly on the taxi squad, but there's nothing wrong with putting a wide receiver there as well. So, I don't know. Was that helpful? Did that make sense? Tommy, let me see. Gosh, there's so many. Let me pull up your team. Oh, wait, you're in the primary, the first Superflex League. Okay, so can I pull it up here? No. Doesn't matter. Okay. Gosh, you play Steven week 1. All right, so on your taxi. Oh, see, this doesn't show me. Hold on. I know we figured out how to do this. Oh, yeah, it's understandings. That's right. Okay. Ooh, Hooker on the IR. A little sneaky here, Tommy. All right, so we got Goff, Bijan, Walker, Wilson, Watson, Evans, Schultz, Laporta, MT, Jordan Love, McCoy, Foreman, Chuba, Herbert, Algier, Charbs. We got a lot of running backs. Thielen, Lazard, Tank Dell, Taysom Hill. Hooker is on the IR. So you got Michael Wilson, Stetson Bennett, and Jalen Hyatt currently on taxi. I mean, I think that's fine. I know you like Tank Dell a lot, so if you want him off, that's fine. I think Charbs you do want to keep off. Yeah, I mean, looking at this particular team, that's probably the best move, but you could see Hyatt, carve out a role this year, and you could see Michael Wilson. I think Bennett definitely stays on the taxi squad. But yeah, ultimately for this team, wide receiver, you got Wilson, Watson, Evans, Thielen, Lazard, Dell. So yeah, I mean, you don't really want to put Algier there. So I do think these are the best players for you to have on the taxi squad. Yeah, obviously with Hooker not being an option right now, but yeah, I mean, if you're worried about your specific team, your taxi squad, I do think this is the best place to be. You could argue for Laporta being there, being that you have Schultz and Taysom Hill, but also this is a tight end premium league, so probably not. So, I don't think wide receiver depth would hurt you. Just having 3 wide receivers on the bench and having Laporta in the flex currently, but still, it's kind of tough. Because I don't think, unless you put Tank Dell on the taxi squad, which I don't think you want to, I don't think there's really any other options here. So I think you're fine right now. So hopefully that was helpful. Cats, we need to make the league's rookie draft order points for instead of win/loss. Yeah, I know we do. In every league, there's still at least one person who needs to pay. So I'll give an update on that tomorrow. But yeah, until everyone pays, I'm not moving on to the next step. But it has been in the back of my head. So Like, yeah, we do need to get all that discussion down and the tanking stuff down, but I'll give an update on payment tomorrow and who needs to pay. And as long as we're getting to like 1 or 2 people per league need to pay, then we should be good. Katz makes a point. I would suggest taking any running back and backup quarterback off taxi. One injury, the guy could be startable. That's a fair point as well. Here in Laporta will be getting going week 1. Yeah, Laporta will be fine. Cat's not rushing it, just trying to convince all league members. Yeah, man, you guys are going to have the opportunity to discuss that and roll with it in each individual league based off of a vote and everything. So we shall see. All right, guys. I have an itch in my ear, apparently. All right, so I guess that does it for the night. Good mock tonight. Let's roast my team, then we'll wrap up. How about that? Burrow's going to be fine. He's my quarterback. Ingram at tight end. I'm good at that. Bijan, Swift, Monty, Brian Robinson, redraft, 1 flex. I'm okay with this running back room. Olave, Ridley, DJ Moore. I love that start. Sky Moore, Romeo Dobbs, Shaheed for the 10th through 12th round. I'm pretty happy with those guys. Ravens defense, Nick Folk. So be starting Burrow because he's going to be okay. Starting Ingram, Bijan and DeAndre Swift, Bijan and David Montgomery, either way. Starting Olave, starting Ridley, flexing DJ Moore. I like this starting lineup a lot. Swift or Monty on the bench, Brian Robinson on the bench, Sky Moore, Romeo Dobbs, Rashid Shaheed on the bench, starting the Ravens defense, starting Nick Folk. I like this squad. I'd be good with it. There's my roast. All right, guys. So hit the like button on the way out if you guys didn't do so already. If you guys are new to the channel and you tuned in, thank you for being here. Make sure you subscribe so you can listen to me talk about fantasy. And thank you guys for drafting with me tonight. We'll run another one tomorrow. Probably run an underdog draft this weekend. And yeah, I should be on the next 2 nights at least. So should be exciting, guys. It is that time of year. I'm going to do everything I can for the month of August to upload at least 5 mock drafts a week and mock draft at least 5 times live a week. That's my plan. I'm going to try my darndest. I think we can do it. I think we can at least go live and mock 4 times a week, and I can upload 5 mocks a week. So that's my plan. I'm excited. It's fantasy season. Training camp's here. The injury bugs are hitting. Everything's going to be okay. Joe Burrow, this stream is dedicated to you. So, okay, guys. Follow us on Instagram. Join our Discord. Links are down below. All that good stuff. Love you guys, man. Loves community. Love the Catch fam. Thank you guys for being here tonight. And I'll talk to you guys soon. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, yes, odd here on the Catch. And